Welcome to Your In Depth, where we walk through and break down our favorite fictional universes. Today, we are covering the next two episodes, that's 3 and 4, of Maul, Shadow Lord. I am Jacob. I'm joined here by the cheering Evan.
Oh, sorry, wrong.
No, cheering,
wrong.
not dance.
Oh,
Come on. Get it together. No,
I'm sorry. These two
anyway,
episodes just really gave me like club party vibes. You know, I don't.
did they? Did
Yeah,
they really? What kind are you joining?
absolutely.
Or going to?
Just all the lightsabers, all the lighting from that. It was like a rave.
Oh, there was. Okay. I can kind of see what you're talking about now.
Good, because
Anyway,
I totally
that's
just
what
like came
we're-
up with that on the spot and was not planning that whatsoever. I don't know if that fits. I mean, it was totally planned.
Your little
yeah.
disclaimer really tones down the whatever. It doesn't matter. We are going to talk about it because it aired yesterday. I'm hoping this will post tomorrow. If you can't piece together based on what I'm saying when we're recording, we are recording on Tuesday. I'm hoping to upload it tomorrow, and you guys can maybe join in on the discussion, give input on what we say, as it is fresh in your mind, as it is in ours. More so in Evan's, because he just said that he watched each episode twice within the last, what would you say, 2 hours? 3 hours?
Closer
probably?
to 3, but yeah, it was like I literally watched
really
episode
recent.
3, episode 4, right back into episode 3, episode 4, just to make sure I didn't miss any important details.
Yes. So super quick, we're going to go just a little tiny bit. No, let's stick to the order. So if you don't recall, episode 3 is, here's a quick summary of it. Maul's followers capture Devon and bring her to him. That is episode 2. I'm reading the wrong thing.
Well, in episode 3, Devon gets quote unquote captured, right, by Maul's followers. Because she has just broken out of her little cell in the previous episode, where she has a little bit of a
because it wasn't initially
kind of face off with Maul, where you can just tell he's playing with her. You know, he's just toying with her, but eventually she scrambles her way to an exit, and Maul simply just lets her walk away, but takes his lightsaber back as she initially took it, with their quote unquote conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe that was the kind of...
to me, that was just kind of like the high point of the episode. Was just kind of like that right there. The rest of it kind of set up.
Was this the episode
4? So
was this the episode that Maul met with the Pike Syndicate?
Yes.
Okay. And then the next one was basically the pursuit of Lawson trying to find him.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because... Yeah. Maul seizes control of the Pike Syndicate by killing Krim and installing a loyal leader. While on Janix, Devon reunites with Daki and helps set up a raid on Maul's hideout. Despite Two Boots' objection and attempts to call the Empire, Lawson proceeds, but Maul anticipates the attack, offering protection in exchange for peace before a firefight erupts. Devon and Daki confront Maul but are defeated, and as he retreats, Lawson discovers they are Jedi and urges them to flee, just as an Imperial Star Destroyer arrives after Two Boots successfully alerted the Empire. So that's where we're at. Let's talk about it. Evan, what do you... Dude, ad. Well, you know what? I'll save the ad because it makes sense after a couple of comments later. So go ahead. What are your thoughts?
Okay. I thoroughly enjoyed parts of these two episodes. Mm-hmm. Other parts felt a little, I don't want to say dry because I think that's the wrong word, but they just felt a little too filler, I guess, because they're kind of, at least in episode 3, some sections of episode 3 felt a little not important, like they're just kind of trying to put a couple things in there to set up the big event in episode 4.
That's not called filler, that's called build up.
It felt more like filler, like they're just trying to fill the episode to get to episode 4.
What, I suppose, what instances are you talking about? Or like what are some of those areas?
Some of the stuff with what's his name, the little mini dude crime syndicate guy that Maul captured. I can't even remember his name. He annoys me a lot.
Yeah, I can't think of his name.
Like, just kind of, I understand in order to get to the point where Maul takes out the Pike leader and puts a new leader in place, you got to have him in there a little bit, but it kind of felt like that was a little too drawn out. We didn't need all of his blabbering on, trying to justify himself, never shutting up. Like, yeah, I feel like they could have condensed that.
Kinda.
They didn't really, I don't think they really needed as much of it in there as they put in, but.
Sure. Maybe.
And then I believe it's episode 4, the whole thing with with Lawson going to his son's lacrosse game, I'm assuming, based off of the stick
pretty
that
much
his son was holding.
Lacrosse.
Yeah. I was like, I understand you're trying to like build a new character here, and so you're trying to personalize him, right, and kind of show his current situation, but I don't care about it.
It wasn't flashy enough for your autistic brain, right?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they didn't push the important plot
I think you view Star Wars. What was the last thing you said?
No, the whole going to his son's game, it didn't, in my opinion, it didn't flow as naturally as in like episode 2, where he was at his apartment and his son was there.
Yeah.
I feel like just the event right there just didn't flow quite as well as it did in the previous episode.
I know that they're trying to like set up his kind of family life and try to narrow in on that, which honestly I appreciate. I want to see more like realistic, like not the hero, quote unquote, dialogue. Right. I want to see what happens with the everyday person in Star Wars. And obviously Lawson's more of like, he's not so much a everyday person. He's kind of the captain. So in a way he's a hero in the story, but like, still. That being said, the lacrosse game thing kind of was a little more out of place than the other one, but I wasn't too bothered by it.
I wasn't insanely bothered by it, right? And I understand why they have it in there. Because again, like you said, they're brand new character. They're working on building him, getting the viewers to understand who he is, his life, that sort of thing. To me, it just didn't flow in as naturally as the apartment scene did in episode 2.
Yeah.
It was just like the flow of how we got to that just felt a little off, but even that didn't bother me too much, because it's not like that scene didn't have a purpose, because that's when Daki showed up and actually talked to Lawson. So there was a purpose there. It's just the whole, I'm going to my son's sports game. Yeah, oh man, this random weirdo showed up and now he's talking to me. Like, that just kind of felt a little strange to me, was all.
Yeah. I did have a comment. So in going back to actually Maul, and his testing of Devon, when she has his lightsaber and he like basically kills the lights, and then it's just like basically like an echo around her, that reminded me so much of like certain missions from like Far Cry 3 and like certain video games where it's just like there's this like fever dream of like stuff going on, and it's just like borderline terrifying. But I loved how they did it in this.
The scene with Maul and Devon where he turns off the lights, it is the same thing as Ventress when she's trying to figure out who to choose when she chooses Savage in Clone Wars. Except it's better executed.
It's way better executed. And I knew I've seen it before in Star Wars, but it still gave a similar vibe to that. Yes. Yeah.
It's almost like the Ventress one was the trial run, and then they got to Maul and they're like, we know what doesn't work, let's put the good version in here.
Well, I'm glad that they did. But yeah. Oh, it also reminded me of the whole Anakin's revelation on Mortis. Kind of just that like distorted like scream future events happening as you're kind of becoming aware of what's, in his case, what's to come. In these cases, just like these freaking onslaught of like things to, these.
My favorite part of that whole scene was when Devon's standing there holding the half of Maul's lightsaber, and I had the subtitles on, and it says in subtitles, lightsaber. It was like Kyber crystal whispers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I thought the noise itself was so cool, but then it was like Kyber crystal. Is this something new that we're going to learn about Kyber crystals? Like, is there a certain sentience to them? I wonder.
Unless it's like just trying to describe the sound of it, because it's like often like kind of like an ominous like like the Ring, which granted the Ring and Lord of the Rings you could probably argue is sentient in some ways because it's, but actually I don't even think you can argue that. That's just straight up how it is.
Yeah, that's just
But similarly, that's an interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was very strange. Cause again, so it was one of two things. It was either Kyber crystal whispers or lightsaber whispers. But regardless, the fact that they put whisper in there really intrigues me.
Yeah, one second.
Because if it was just the lightsaber noise. Oh, Jacob's hearing lightsaber whispers, apparently. I think he's about to get killed by Maul.
I was hearing something weird, and I was trying to figure out what it was, and I'm pretty sure my wife's in the other room watching, like, YouTube.
Oh no! I while you had your earbud out, I told the audience that you're hearing lightsaber whispers. Maul is right behind you.
So speaking of lightsaber sounds, we're kind of grouping these together, so I'm going out a little bit of order here. In episode 4, it was when they were in the in Maul's kind of hideout, same location as this, but when the cops show up and stuff.
Yeah.
The lightsaber sound. This was covered in a little behind the scenes thing put out by Star Wars earlier today. The lightsaber sound, they utilized some of Sam Witwer's screams.
Oh, really? Oh, geez.
So when you hear it like swoosh, you can kind of hear it like they distort it, but you can hear kind of like as it's so cool.
Interesting.
But that was a thing. So
that's really interesting that they did that and they released that information. Because with the previous scene with the word whisper in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have to think that putting whisper in the subtitle is intentional, because if you watch Clone Wars, it's like lightsaber noise in quotes, or for the subtitles, or like a whoosh kind of in quotes, spelled out in subtitles. But this is specifically, it's a whisper. There's a voice in there somewhere.
I'm curious.
And that's interesting that you bring that up.
That like kind of like a if that's what they were going for. It very well could just be trying to find the best word to describe a little like weird, like coming from it, but like.
Right. But with you saying the thing they released though, with like using Sam Witwer's scream for some of it, I feel like those two things separately, whatever. That's kind of a cool fact, right? But when you combine those two things, the subtitle with how they kind of made the lightsaber noise, I feel like there's something bigger implied there.
Maybe. Yeah, curious. We got a little bit more of Lawson's backstory here, in that his ex-wife worked for the Empire, which kind of is some interesting bit of information, because he's obviously very resistant to the Empire getting involved. and
Right.
we haven't fully it hasn't fully been revealed what his objection there is. I doubt it's just because his ex-wife works there. I doubt that it's that. But I'm wondering
Right.
if through their marriage, maybe that's what stressed it, is him having an opposition to the Empire. And like there kind of been, maybe he learned some about it through her that he's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm curious where they go with it.
Well, I know in these several episodes, whenever was it two step or whatever, the droid brings up like we need to inform the Empire. Lawson is every time
Two
he's like,
boots.
no, we're not doing that. Two boots, thank you. But Lawson's always like, no, we're not doing that. We don't want the Empire here. In these episodes, I think it's episode 3. Two Boots goes to inform the Empire, and Lawson like shuts him down. Hits the off switch.
I think it was episode 4 because at the end of that they show up.
Okay, yeah, probably episode 4 then. But Lawson has said a couple times that like once the Empire's here, they're not going to leave.
Yeah.
And he did mention of something along the lines of like he's seen the Empire come to a planet before, and he doesn't want that on this planet, like something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm curious to. I expect them to expand on that more, because otherwise, why put the line in there?
Right.
But I'm really curious to see, especially because this is only a year after Revenge of the Sith. So it's like, where was he at a year ago that the Empire came in and he saw them do some bad stuff?
Yeah.
Because it's like, especially when you're talking about an entire galaxy, yes, they have like their light speed and everything, but it's like the dude's a fairly high-ranking detective in this police force, and you don't get to that sort of position in 1 year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like he's been on this police force for a while now, several years at least. So is he just like on vacation somewhere and the Empire showed up like 6 months ago, or did before him and the wife get divorced, did she tell him about, oh yeah, this one time we went over to such and such place and we blasted all of these people and it was great, and then he's like, whoa, you know what I mean, like where does this information that he allegedly has come from?
Right.
And I think we'll find out in the next few episodes.
I'm sure. Yeah.
And then my other thought was, I wonder if we'll be introduced to his ex-wife. I imagine we will be, because it's been brought up a couple times now. And then with that, is she going to be a brand new character introduced, or is she going to be someone we've seen in previous media before, and we just never knew that there was, she, I don't know, had a husband who is now an ex-husband type of situation.
Yeah.
I don't know why my mind goes to that officer in Rebels, that chick with like the bowl cut going on. I don't know why my head goes there, but that's what my mind goes to.
I don't know. So one quick voice actor trivia thing that I thought was interesting. Daki is voiced, but
I remember watching the episodes and I was like, I know that voice, but I couldn't think of who the actor was, and I didn't want to look it up quite yet because I assumed you would have the information.
I did. Dennis Haysbert.
What else has he got? I'm not good with actor names.
Quite honestly, I don't know. He's in a good amount of TV shows, guest starring roles like The A-Team, Night Court, Dallas, Incredible Hulk, Magnum PI, a variety of other things. Nothing.
What's his name again?
Insanely new. Dennis Haysbert. But dude, he's the freaking Allstate guy.
No, you know what I know is Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He shows up
Was he in that?
like 2 or 3 episodes in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
That's awesome.
Oh my gosh, yes. Again, like, the name means nothing to me, but I did the quick, like, Googled his name real quick, and I was like, yep, I know that face. I've seen him in a number of different things.
Yep. But, something else I thought was really funny in this episode was, speaking of Daki, he does live in the sewers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you made the joke on the last 2 episodes about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're wondering what that joke was, go watch our previous episode.
Yep. And if you're curious on what element of these episodes I may make an ad on, well, hey, let's have an ad break. This episode is brought to you by Master Daki's Underground Access Solutions. If you ever need a quick getaway, a small refuge, or just a new door, you could go with a handful of companies in the Janix area that'll install those for you, but you'll find yourself asking, am I really in good hands here? With Master Daki, yes, you are in good hands.
Nice.
Yeah. I had to make an Allstate joke somewhere there. After I figured that out. That's crazy.
No.
Well, but yeah, apparently, I mean, he lives in the sewers and stuff, and like, I just thought that was funny because he's like such a turtle. And actually similar to, I heard somebody refer to him as similar to a kind of that figure of, what's their kind of like sensei, his name?
For
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't know why I'm blanking on it. I had it earlier.
Oh my gosh, this is going to bother me.
Google it. Google it, other person that's in front of a computer. What are you typing? 2 letters per minute?
Something like that. Master Splinter.
Splinter, that was it.
Yeah.
Anyway, back. Oh. So something that the Pike boss said, I think it was him that said it, was that he's like, I'll feed you to my Nexu horde.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are those? I can't think of what they are. And so I looked them up, and they're those like kind of like leopard type mutant creatures from Attack of the Clones that rip up Padme's back. Those things. So yeah, he has a horde of those. But that was an interesting detail that I had to look up, because anything with wildlife or anything in Star Wars, I got to look into it. Yeah. And so that was that. Another note, the little character. Go ahead if you have something.
I was just going to comment because you had mentioned Dennis Haysbert.
Yeah.
I was curious about other voice actors within the show thus far. And obviously Sam Witwer is Maul, but
right. Lawson was in something else. I can't think of what it was. He was a good
Wagner
voice.
Mora? Wagner, something like that.
Yeah.
He was in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
Yeah, he played Death or whatever.
Yeah. But looking at the kind of short cast list for the show thus far, besides Sam Witwer and Dennis Haysbert, I didn't really notice or recognize anyone else in it. And I mean, I just clicked on a couple of them just to see what else they'd been in. And like, they've got other roles that they've done, but it's just, from my understanding, never been really anything too big.
Yeah.
But I mean, truthfully, that's not really anything terribly new when it comes to like voice acting in anime. I feel like different companies tend to go with less known voice actors.
Sometimes, but I mean, obviously they do auditions, so it ends up just being what they're
right. But
Yeah.
like the most popular voice actors that come to my mind are like Sam Witwer and then Matt Mercer.
Oh yeah.
But
Has he been in any Star Wars?
not any Star
has,
Wars, but I know he's. And for anybody who doesn't really know who Matt Mercer is, he does Critical Role. It's like a Dungeons and Dragons YouTube series thing, and they've got like a cast of other voice actors, but no. My point with that was though, just like the two most popular voice actors I can think of are like Sam Witwer and then him. Whenever I look at other voice actors for different things we cover, mainly Clone Wars, right, thus far, I typically don't recognize them. At this point, unless it's like the voice actor for Anakin or Obi-Wan, from the Clone Wars. But like the side cast, essentially, I don't typically recognize as being in a lot of other stuff.
Right. What's the little guy's name?
Ludi Vario.
So he
voice actor is Chris Diamantopoulos. I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, his character so far I think is pretty annoying. Overall. However, the facial animations that they have on this is like next level. I feel like his like just overall the animation in this is I feel like next level. But realistically, I'm looking at like I feel like you get more of a brush stroke with like the character models, but for sure the backgrounds they look like a painting and the lightsabers look freaking amazing. But other than that, I mean, like even that's just a huge step up. Also something I saw from the behind the scenes thing that anybody who's interested in Star Wars has probably already seen it aside from you. Some of their animators and like or storyboarders, some of their storyboarders are actually well versed in martial arts.
Oh yeah.
So when they're planning this stuff out, it's like actually makes freaking sense.
Yeah.
So if you see some of these like also they don't motion capture, but Sam Witwer had there's some footage of him like with black lines as if it's like Maul's face and stuff just for reference stuff. And so he's like fighting with a lightsaber and they're utilizing that as like reference for the animations. So there's some pretty cool behind the scenes stuff.
It makes me think of the last couple episodes of Clone Wars season 7. When you have the spoiler alert for anybody that hasn't seen season 7 of Clone Wars, when they have the Maul Ahsoka fight, with that one they used motion capture, and they actually had two like professional martial artists like going at each other, with like the I guess batons, I guess would be the best word for them. But they actually use that for like the motion capture. The fake lightsabers. The fake lightsabers.
Which any of them would be, I suppose. They don't exist, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, but that's just what it reminds me of when you were saying that was like with those last few episodes at the very least, they did like actual motion capture for Maul and Ahsoka. Excuse me. And again, had actual martial artists there doing it, so it's like this isn't just some random crap that someone came up with, for them to twirl and twist and jump and whatnot. And it's like obviously they go more say over the top than like a realistic fight would be, but it's still based in actual martial arts technique, which I think is really cool.
Yeah. I think so. Speaking of fighting and stuff, one of the main things was Devon and Daki fighting Maul, and that was very. I saw a lot of people being like, "It's so reminiscent of Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon fighting him." It's like, yeah, because it's 2-on-1. I don't see any other similarity other than Master and Apprentice, which I guess, yeah, okay, maybe in that way.
The only other close similarity I could see is just like with the Phantom Menace fight, in this fight, Maul constantly is pushing one or the other away.
Yeah.
Like he's very good at creating space. Truthfully, for the most part, fighting one-on-one, he's just doing, two one-on-one battles simultaneously, but it's like, fight you for a few seconds, push you away, now I'm going to fight you. He's very rarely got both lightsabers coming at him at the same time and blocking both. It's typically like a quick dodge, push away, battle, 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 dodge, push away, battle, battle. It's like just very back and forth, which is very reminiscent of Phantom Menace, but that's like the closest thing I would say that we have. But that in itself, though, is just Maul's fighting style. Because like in the Clone Wars, Obi-Wan and is it Adi Gallia, I think her name is, fight Maul and
name, I'm pretty sure.
It might not be her, but I think it's the same species. But they're fighting Maul and Savage, and for a moment in those episodes, it's the two of them versus Maul because Savage gets like pushed back or something, and even then he splits them up. He never takes them on at the same time. That's just Maul's fighting style. That's not they were doing a nod back to Phantom Menace. It's like, no, they're just sticking true to the character and how he would actually fight.
Yeah. So here's my question to you. One of the questions, is Daki making it through the series?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. It very much obviously is Maul's intent to separate them, probably kill Daki and replace him as her mentor. And it almost seems like I thought that he was going to straight up die in this episode. He seems to have gotten hurt.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if that's going to end up being like one of those weird fatal things, or if he's out of commission or whatever, and then she's like no longer has him around. But yeah, I literally in my notes, I say the master is screwed. Devon fell into Maul's trap. He's looking to kill and replace the master. And then like I have a note, and then the next line is like drawing a connection back to the previous one, and it says, well, not yet though. Because I for sure thought he was going to get killed this episode.
Well, and you saying that, I guess I do see another similarity to Phantom Menace, but it's across more of the movie than just the final duel of the fate, or duel of the, whatever it's called, mind fart here. But it is reminiscent of the Phantom Menace movie as a whole, because Qui-Gon fights Maul before their fight on Naboo. He fights him briefly on Tatooine.
That's true.
And so I wonder if maybe they are kind of doing a similar callback to that, where Daki's had his first fight with Maul, but it's going to be the second fight that gets him. Now, obviously, the fallout is not going to be anywhere close to as significant as it was in, the Phantom Menace. But with that, I didn't even think of that before. I guess in some ways there is some reminiscence to Phantom Menace in this, but I think a lot of people, and I saw this too, a lot of people are just doing strictly, the Duel of the Fates. It's so reminiscent of the Duel of the Fate.
Which actually, Duel of the Fates, the music, there was a little bit of, I don't know if it was an intentional reference, but it sounded very much like it in some of these fights. But it wasn't the same. I mean, it was just maybe a nod, maybe just a whole new soundtrack. I don't know.
My thing, though, is so many people are just going straight to Duel of the Fates, and it's like, no, there is a theme here for a lot of Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
It's not just that final fight in Phantom Menace. It's like, it's that whole movie, which on initial thought would bother me, but when I think about it a little further, it falls right in line with Maul and his character. He has this rise and then his fall, his rise and his fall. And so it's like Phantom Menace, he's on the high. You know, he's the apprentice to the master. He's super skilled. He has his fall. We get, you know, him rising back up in Clone Wars, becoming the master, and then his fall. And now here we're getting his rise again, which for anybody that's seen Rebels, we know he's fallen again in Rebels. You know, and so it's like, it's very, yes, it's very similar to Phantom Menace, but it's just, that's Maul's story in general. That's his, kind of his fate is, he's going to get some power and then he will lose it. He is never going to be able to hold on to power.
Yeah.
So.
Last thing I have before I have some questions for you. So again, step in, say anything. But I love how, it's kind of dumb in that final battle in his little headquarters that he was doing for a little bit, or his little hideout. I like how Lawson just freaking like final match from Happy Gilmore the like the scaffolding to like fall. It's just, I don't know. It was just kind of like, it was smart, but it was just like, okay.
Yeah. The scene where Maul shows up to get his revenge on the Pikes.
Oh, yeah.
I had a couple things on that.
Yes.
Number one, having one of his underlings come out first was cool, because never in my mind was it, that's not Maul.
Yeah.
Like he appeared.
I forgot that there was a whole
appeared
other,
on the ramp, ignites the lightsaber. Is like, oh, Maul's about to mess some people up. He's about to go off. Let's go. And then when little sniveling little Vario like hits him with the stunner, I was like, no, what? No. But then we get the reveal.
Well,
the hood gets pulled down. It's like, oh. I'm trying not to cuss, sorry, but in my mind, there were a plethora of cuss words.
If you do, but yeah, I get you. So, but the thing with that is too, like, yeah, because my mind wasn't going like, I'm like, that is Maul, and then that happened, and I'm just like, okay, two areas here. What's his next plan? Is this part of the plan? But also, like, the Clone Wars, it kind of had that kind of like cheesy, just like, nope, now it's gonna work out for him, but what's the hiccup? Right. You know. So this was a freaking amazing scene. I loved it because, like, not even is it just like a quick, like, it's not like this. Very quickly you see the strategy behind it, because he walks in and uses the Force to turn on his lightsaber that he's holding and just basically goes and flips it around. Just ended just like that.
And again,
and then just slices through the rest of them.
It reminds me of, except it is extremely and so much better designed and played out, of
then are you gonna say Last Jedi?
Last Jedi, yeah. With Snoke.
Just like,
yeah. Like it's the same concept, but again, like the whole Ventress thing with the, turn out the lights, it's like the Snoke thing was the trial run, this is the final product, the proper execution. But no, when I first saw that scene, before it showed the Pike leader laying there dead, I thought Maul cut him in half. I didn't realize it was just a giant gash up the chest. I thought the Pike dude got cut in half. And again, because this is like an animation and it's more tailored towards like young teens, maybe in reality he is cut in half, but they only show like the torso, so like they don't show the kind of gore of it as much. So like maybe he did get cut in half, but yeah, when I saw Maul do that little flick of the wrist and like the lightsaber go, it looks like it goes right through the Pike dude's waist, right across and up is what it looks like.
Yeah, I have to take a quick break.
Boo.
So, BRB. So something that I've noticed throughout this series and Clone Wars as well that I wish that they would change, and I think it is because it's kind of aimed at a kid's audience, you never see any, like, on screen, you never see people getting cut in half.
Right.
Droids, nonstop. But people, no. It'll be slightly off scene, or even in when Maul decapitates Pre Vizsla. It's shot in such a way that the camera just passes over to where there's somebody in the way when you see him go. So it's like, you know what happened,
Right.
but they just don't show it.
Well, in the prequel trilogy is the goriest Star Wars has ever been.
Yeah.
You know, like in episode 1, again, we get Maul cut in half. In episode 2, you have Jango Fett's hand and head cut off, and you see the helmet roll. Like you know, and if you look at the shadows, you see the helmet roll, and you see another circular object branch off from it, like the head fell out of the helmet. You know, episode 3, obviously with Order 66, there's so much that you see with that. Like it's just devastating.
Yeah. Oh, and then Anakin scorched and burning alive.
Yeah. Like and like Anakin burning alive is the most goriest scene in all of Star Wars. And don't get me wrong, that scene is like that. Even today, that is rough for me to watch. Like, I still cringe watching that. Because, you know, say what you will, I know a lot of people have come around to Hayden Christensen, you know, now, but like when those films were initially released, a lot of people had hate for Hayden for his performance as Anakin, like in the following couple years after. But it's like, even back then when those movies came out, it was like, whether you liked his performance or not throughout the rest of those other films, like the performance he gives in that scene of on Mustafar being burnt alive, like, it is so well. Like, again, like every time I see that scene, it's just like I cringe. It's like, oh gosh, you know.
Yeah.
And that's the goriest scene in all of Star Wars. I challenge anybody to find a more gory scene than that in all of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Maybe if you go into the comics, you might find something, but even then, you don't get that. You know, I feel like even in like comics or books, you don't get that raw emotion, that instinctive cringe or like from like a movie or a TV show.
Yeah.
But I wish. Don't get me wrong, the animation is fantastic with this show. It is top tier. No complaints about the animation. I do have a little bit of a wish that it was a live action and they went with like not necessarily like say Game of Thrones level with all of the gore and stuff in that show, but like something a little closer to that. Like, give us the cut in half Pike, give us the decapitated, you know.
I mean, I wish they would do that, even if it's just, I mean, in animation. Like, I want it to be a little more like, because the way he spun it, easily cut him in half.
Yeah.
Like, almost guaranteed. But obviously they didn't show that, and so it's like, come on. Just show it, dang it. No.
Yeah. But even still, though, just like seeing the lightsaber flash across and up, even then I was like, oh my gosh. Like, geez, Maul. Oh my, I knew you were dark, dude, but oh man.
Yeah.
It was that was such a cool scene.
Yeah. That's the kind of quickness I hope they kill off the little guy with.
And then, oh my gosh, I had another one. Oh my gosh, what was it? Oh, the scene right before Daki and Devon fight Maul. When Daki is like, you know, you gave the police captain a choice, we'll give you one as well. Like, that whole conversation before the fight, I really enjoyed that, because that is a Jedi master sticking to his ideals, right? And sticking to the Jedi way. But it is also Maul pointing out how that Jedi way failed them. At every point that Daki makes, Maul is like, yeah, but like, look how it turned out. Is that really serving anybody? Are you really making a difference? You're scrounging in the gutters, begging for, like, Maul's responses to all of Daki's points are just so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that dialogue before the fight. And the fight itself was really cool, too.
Mm-hmm.
But I do question... I have to think Daki is not a Jedi Master. He's simply a Jedi Knight. Because in my opinion, if you took any Master, any Jedi Master during the Clone Wars against Maul, would they beat him? Maybe not. But they would not have gotten their butt kicked as hard as Daki and Devon did.
Yeah.
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 Because, like, Maul dominates that fight.
Oh, yeah.
Like neither Daki or Devon even come close to leaving a scratch on Maul. The closest thing we get is Daki kicking at the robot leg, but even that didn't hinder Maul in the moment.
So,
I think that's my last point for now. If I think of any others, I can bring them up.
Yeah.
But if you had
I have one
star.
I have one question for you, and then I think we should do 2 that you have, and then I have one that I'd like to end on, even though it's not specific to this. But it was a thought that I had while mowing today, and I'm like, I want to ask this. So, my question isn't necessarily, where do you think Devon's story's going? I think it's stereotypical throughout Star Wars to have a Jedi tested, and they end up still prevailing and they're good. Do you think that she might end up falling? Since this is about Maul?
My initial response is yes. But as I think about it, I wonder if she won't fall because of the events of Rebels. Because, spoiler alert for anybody that hasn't seen Rebels, Maul is in Rebels, and he tries to get Ezra to fall.
Mm-hmm.
And his approach to Ezra, I feel like, is very different from what he's trying to do here with Devon. And so I wonder if this is like a learning experience for Maul that he looks back on in Rebels, and now he's trying something new to try and get Ezra to fall, because this thing didn't work with Devon. I wonder if that's kind of a route they're going with it. I think that would be a really cool way of going about it. I think that'd be a very interesting kind of storyline. But at the same time, I could definitely see Devon falling to the dark side. And maybe even to a point where they have, like, Daki has to take out his own apprentice because she's fallen. And then he himself is taken out. I wonder if... I feel like that could be a really interesting thing to see play out.
Yeah.
Because I think at some point, I feel like Daki and Devon, I feel like, have to die. Whether it's at Maul's hand, I think Daki is going to die at Maul's hand. I think that is going to happen. I wonder, because the Empire is now arriving here at the end of Episode 4. I wonder if we'll see some Inquisitors, and I wonder if an Inquisitor will take out Devon.
So, I'll keep my mouth shut about that.
Okay. What?
No. Like, if any listener wants to check out the promotional material that was offered about Maul, you will see something. Whatever. There's Inquisitors that show up.
Okay.
So I don't care. I don't even care right now. I was trying to avoid spoiling that for you, but then I'm just like, never mind.
Well, and I mean, I kind of have the assumption that at least an Inquisitor will show up, is my assumption. Mm-hmm. Because the Empire is now just arriving, and they're arriving because Maul is here. Like
Right.
Palpatine and Vader are not going to send just stormtroopers to deal
No,
with
not for
Maul.
Maul.
Yeah.
No.
Now, if this
Now,
was
here's a
like a
question.
rebellion against the Empire, yeah, they'd send just stormtrooper galore and just, overwhelm them in numbers, But someone as high profile as Maul, they're not just sending stormtroopers to take him out.
Right.
I
Here's a
figured
question, though.
at least an Inquisitor or two, at the absolute most, maybe Darth Vader himself, but I don't really see that happening in this, at least not in season 1.
Question: what Inquisitors do you think they would send?
I feel like we might see the Grand Inquisitor. I have a feeling we'd see the Grand Inquisitor because, again, this is not too long after Revenge of the Sith, and this might be something that Darth Vader has the Grand Inquisitor do to prove himself that he's truly let go of the Jedi way, that he will just strike down, or like go for the kill with Maul, not do this kind of negotiation thing that Daki is trying to do in these episodes. So I'm imagining the Grand Inquisitor, and maybe one or two others with him, maybe.
Okay. What are your discussion questions?
The problem is I feel like we talked about all of my discussion questions.
Okay, that's fine. We can move on to asking you and I low and high point, and then I'll end on the other question if you want. If there aren't any good questions that like we haven't answered in some way or another.
Excuse me. I did have one thing on here that I was thinking about, if I could find it. So one of the things on here that I was looking at, and it feels kind of dumb to me, but I guess I'll just ask it anyways, just to kind of get your take on it.
Yeah, what's new? You asking something dumb?
With the Empire now arriving on the planet,
Mm-hmm.
in your mind, does this make Maul feel small to you? Like does I'm trying to think of a good way to word this. I don't know if there's a good way to word it. I feel stupid asking it because, in my opinion, it's a pretty straightforward answer. But because looking at this, the Empire arriving here, in my mind, instantly makes Maul feel insignificant in the grand scheme of things.
To a viewer?
Yeah. Because like all the way up until the Imperial cruiser arrives, Maul is like kicking butt, taking names, going to town. He is the big villain here, But it's like when you see that Imperial cruiser slowly approaching over the city, in my mind, that instantly to me says, what Maul is doing here. Well, there's a bigger bad guy, but at the same time, it's like what Maul is doing here is minuscule. When you have the Empire, so it's like, does the Empire instantly make Maul feel small? To me, it's like, yes, the Empire does. But I don't know if you agree.
Well, you see, I don't really view the Empire. Let's just say the rebels won. So is this really really that big of a villain.
Hey, we will talk about the whole Rebels and Empire thing when we get to 4, 5, and 6. I have so many thoughts on that, and that will go down such a rabbit hole. I am going to save all those thoughts for when we get to those movies. But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, to me, I didn't really think about it in the sense of like, it's now this. I just kind of viewed it as like, honestly, yeah, I don't know. Kind of lost my train of thought if I'm being real honest. I feel like it's just another problem. It's not necessarily now the biggest problem, though it's obviously not good.
Right. Well, and I guess the main reason I kind of thought about bringing this up and asking is because on IMDb they've got the list of all 10 episodes, and they've got titles for all 10 for season 1. All 10 episodes are already titled. And so episode 9 is titled Strange Allies. And so that makes me wonder if there's going to be some sort of like team up between Maul, maybe Daki and Devon, or just Maul and Devon against the Empire, or something like that. And then my mind also goes to Rebels again, when Maul teams up with Ahsoka, Ezra, and Kanan to fight off the Inquisitors.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so it's like, when I take those things into account, and even the last 4 episodes of Clone Wars, Maul extends the invitation for Ahsoka to join him to take out Sidious. You know, and so it's like, through all these different things, we see Maul viewing the Empire as this serious problem that he needs help with, which in my mind kind of mitigates how much of a problem he actually is on his own.
Well, this
and so that's kind of where my mind was with it.
And also this being a series centered around him. Like, he's clearly a problem for the local law enforcement and for Daki and Devon. But since it's centered around him, I feel like now his priorities are probably going to be shifting from drug empire, crime syndicate, to how can I utilize these to fight the Empire?
Yeah.
Maybe.
And then, because I also think of that scene where Lawson is talking to Maul, when Maul's got the hologram up, right? What's his name again? Vario comes in and throws the hologram down for Lawson to talk to. And Maul even makes the comment of you're smart. You don't want the Empire here either. That's a problem for both of us. You know, like, Maul makes the comments to Lawson about the Empire, and, you know, Maul acknowledges that, and Lawson, like, makes the comment of, like, how do you know the Empire's not on their way? And Maul says, well, because they're not here yet, so you haven't contacted them. So, like, in my mind, Maul knows how significant he is to the Empire and how much they want to get him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or sort of the response the Empire would send once his location is revealed. You know, and so it's like, even Maul is acknowledging that you don't want the Empire here, I don't want the Empire here. That's a problem for both of us. That's a big problem if the Empire arrives. And we both acknowledge that, but for different reasons. You know?
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I think that's kind of my last little bit that I can think of at this time.
So here's my question to you. If you
me
were a named character in Star Wars, who are you?
Oh, gosh.
Who do you think you're most like? Or who do you think it's not that far of a stretch to be like, yeah, I think I'd be him?
Sorry, my initial comic answer is you remember that clone from the Clone Wars movie that runs up and punches the droid and then screams that it's
droid.
Like that was my comic answer that just came to mind instantly. But no, realistically, I don't know if there's any one specific character I could choose. Like one named character. Because they're all, you either have complete dodo heads like Jar Jar, and say what you will about me, I don't think I'm that bad. Say what you will, but I don't think I'm Jar Jar bad. But then you have like the great heroes like the Obi-Wans and the Yodas, and you have the great villains like the Dooku's and the Palpatines and so on and so forth. I feel like I would be more of that random extra number one that's fighting along like Saw Gerrera. Mm-hmm. Or that random rebel, or during say like the Clone Wars, or that random rebel that's on Endor with Han Solo and Chewbacca and all of them, like extra number 4. I feel like that's probably me.
Realistically, I would say probably same. I feel like if we need to go for an actual named one, I don't think I'm anywhere close to any of the Jedi. I don't think I'm probably any of the clones because I'm not that cool. Maybe Lawson, just because he seems somewhat level-headed and kind of, I can kind of see it in this.
I think probably the closest named character for, like, say you or I would be someone, if we wanted to go with a named character, I feel like it would be something akin to Caleb Dune or Kanan, but when he's an apprentice to Depa Billaba, not by the time he gets to Rebels. He's there fighting, he's kind of cracking jokes with the clones. He's kind of coming up with some stuff and making some comments that's like, yeah, that's just some random, like that's just a kid talking type of thing, like I feel like that's probably the closest thing if we were to choose like a named character that a lot of people would recognize.
I'm asking about your interpretation of yourself. So is that your answer?
I think the closest thing would probably be Caleb Dune, or AKA Kanan Jarrus.
Now here's my other question that twists this a little bit.
Oh, geez.
Who do you think each other is?
Oh, jeez. I think, truthfully, no jokes, I think you would be closest to, say, Tech from the Bad Batch. Because you like all of the technical things and the electronics and, the programmings and stuff like that. I feel like Tech would be very...
Now, does he like that, or was he just built into it and has to function with it?
That is a good question.
I think there's a little different.
I feel like it's a little bit of both. Like his brain was engineered to like that stuff. So there's a little bit of
his brain was engineered into being that stuff.
Yeah, like his brain was engineered into being that stuff, but because his brain was engineered in that way, he enjoys doing it.
Okay, maybe.
Oh gosh, what do you got? Let's hear it. Come on, you've thought about this. I can see the grin on your face.
And quite honestly, because of how goofy you can be, I'm leaning towards some of the comedic characters. And where my mind goes initially I'm like, it would really make him angry if I said Jar Jar because of how goofy you are and stuff. But realistically, maybe not that extreme. So I'm thinking like Battle Droid.
You know what? I would rather be a battle droid than Jar Jar Binks.
No, I know.
Because here's the thing. Jar Jar Binks is silly and goofy and whatnot, but Jar Jar Binks does it from, stupid, but he does it from a serious standpoint. Never is Jar Jar Binks trying to make a joke. He just himself is a joke.
Yeah.
You know that's. I feel like that is a very important thing to define with Jar Jar, because it's like I intentionally go and make stupid comments or jokes or act goofy. That's something that I do intentionally because I find it funny. At the same time. Yeah. But it's like a Jar Jar character who is just stupid and silly and goofy when he's trying to be serious is a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Because even in the movies when like Phantom Menace, when he's like freaking out and like all scared and whatnot, he still just sounds utterly ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I would much rather be a battle droid than Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah.
I'll be that battle droid that gets cut down by random Jedi number 7 over there in the arena in Geonosis.
I will. I don't know a legit personality analysis based answer. I'm just taking little bits of it and trying to be goofy. But I think I could upgrade it a little bit and insult your intelligence a little bit as well. Because there's a trade-off, okay?
Okay.
Clone Wars clone that punches the droid. Okay? You like clone troopers. I think that would be an honor to say that you're one of them. But the stupid one is still kind of just like,
Well, here's the thing, though. I could see it, though. That's the problem.
Well, if you're gun jams, I can picture you being like, and freaking out and punching it.
Well, because here's my thing. The time I could see it, because that clone in the movie there dies before we see Cody do his little like spin move, kick a droid, hit with the blasters. Like, I could see me being that clone if Cody did it first, and then I was like, oh man, he's so cool. I gotta get in the action. Try it. And then I try it, and it just does not work the same way. Yeah. In that scenario, I could see me being that clone. But if someone else didn't do it first, I don't think I would try it.
Well, anyway.
Yeah.
These were some cool episodes.
They were.
I liked them a lot.
thoroughly enjoyed them.
I'm really liking this show.
Yeah.
And
highs and lows.
Can't wait for next Monday. High was probably the Pike getting, in my mind, cut in half, but nerfed because of children audience.
Yeah.
Which is still stupid because, like, come on. I think that's a high. That was probably a high, or just the lightsaber battle between Daki, Devon, and Maul. Like, visually, that was so cool.
Yeah.
Those are my highs.
Well,
you answer your high, and then I'll say my low.
I'll say, too, though, the Daki Devon versus Maul fight, that went just about exactly how I thought it was going to go.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in my mind, it was like, that's a cool fight. It was definitely a cool fight, but I had that kind of like gratification of like, I kind of saw it going this way. I kind of called it. Obviously you can't call the exact like strikes with the lightsaber, but like the overall conclusion of it is kind of how I saw it going. The only kind of difference was I initially thought Daki would die there.
Same.
But
really for that.
But yeah, no, I fully expected Maul to just kind of wipe the floor with them. But no, my high for these two episodes, I'm split between two different ones. I'm split on two different scenes. Number one is the dialogue before the Maul versus Daki and Devon fight. I thought that dialogue was just so brilliantly done. I thought that was really good. My other high point actually involves Vario. And it's when fake Maul, right before fake Maul arrives, and Vario is standing there, and he's kind of like under his breath. He's like, he's here. I'm not alone. Like he's there. You know, I'm trying to warn you. And it's like, because like you can hear the terror in his voice.
Yeah.
You know, like the raw terror that character has when he assumes that Maul is here, which he ends up being right. He just didn't realize he was right in a kind of a different way, you know?
Right.
But no, yeah, just that the terror that just the idea of Maul being nearby, the terror that put into Vario, I thought was just so well done. I think I'm split on those two scenes for my high.
Yeah. Those are good scenes to be split on too.
Really,
because I was thinking primarily visually, but that dialogue that was a pretty good one.
I think if I had to choose one, I'd go with the dialogue between Maul and Daki. But yeah, the implications and the raw terror of Vario, that's a pretty close second for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about lows? I'm thinking mine, as much as it didn't necessarily bother me as out of place as you, probably the weird lacrosse scene. This is kind of there. I mean, I felt like that was the dull point.
Yeah, I think that's my low as well. And it's specifically before Daki arrives and starts talking to Lawson. Like that little bit of like 20 seconds before Daki and Lawson start talking, I think would just be my low. And again, it's not like it was bad, right? Just like preface, it's still good. It's, you know, solid show and everything. It's just like if I had to choose the lowest point in a great show, you know, that's the lowest point. But that point is still miles above anything that the Acolyte tried to do.
Yeah. Okay, dude, this is something. So, listen, I've been rewatching the episodes today. I've been watching some different clips on Star Wars, revisiting other places of Star Wars.
Yeah.
And I saw a couple of scenes from the Acolyte. And so I'm like, I'll watch them. It's been a while since I've seen it. Now, that show, when it came out, tons of people were hating on it. And I was like, okay, it's not good, but it's not, I don't think that it's deserving of all the hate. It's like one of those things where I think that that Star Wars fans just pile on.
Yeah.
And so, because I watched the whole thing, I didn't think it was great storytelling. I didn't think it was great. But at the time, I was like, it's just kind of there. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just there. Rewatching these scenes, I'm starting to lean towards it's crap.
Well,
and I don't know why I didn't see it the first time.
I have several gripes, very strong gripes about the Acolyte. One of my biggest ones is they took the choreography of 7, 8, and 9 lightsaber fights and put it in the Acolyte.
Yeah. Something else too.
That's one of my biggest gripes with the Acolyte.
Yeah, the lightsabers in these scenes look like toys. Like the way that the blades are and stuff, I can borderline see the plastic. Like it's like, what am I looking at right now? It just did not look good in the scene that I was watching.
Well, the lightsabers, it bothers me with the Acolyte's lightsabers and the way they did them. When, like a year later, they did the Kenobi show. And say what you will about the Kenobi show, the storytelling, the plot, I've heard a lot of opinions on both sides of it, right? But when you have that Darth Vader versus Obi-Wan, and you have the lights of the blades
lightsabers were
showing on their faces and giving these different emotional feels and stuff, it's like, how do you go from that sort of storytelling, that sort of kind of light show, or whatever you want to call it. I'm sure there's a technical term for it.
Well, not storytelling, but visually, even just that.
Yeah, but even with that though, like in Kenobi, there is a little bit of storytelling there with the lightsabers, because you get the shots where it's got like the blue on Anakin's face, and then you've got the shots where that shifts to red, and there is some elements of storytelling in that, but it's like a year
that's
before
true.
You have this show that looks like they're waving around the $5 little plastic lightsaber from Walmart. Yeah. Like how did we go from this to that? And again, say what you will about the sequel trilogy, at least the lightsabers looked good. Like the fights themselves, no, but like the lightsabers looked legit.
Right. And just because this is the thought I had based on this, there is so much of Star Wars that is not. I was going to say I don't hate any of Star Wars, but The Last Jedi exists. I can find some positives to say about that.
The Force Awakens exists.
Great. But yes. Anyway, but my point is there's plenty of it that storytelling is just not good. It's just genuinely like incoherent. The one thing that I genuinely hope for the future of Star Wars is that, and again, I'm bringing up Andor, will set the bar. Because pacing is slower. I know you didn't find interest in it all that much and had a hard time getting in it because the pacing is slower, but it has genuinely intelligent dialogue and script writing, and just everything is executed perfectly.
I will say, though, I went and tried to rewatch Andor. And that's what is like. My second time trying to watch Andor, my problem was all the flashbacks. I just didn't care about the flashbacks that they did.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
But even with that, though, like the storytelling, the pacing of Maul is a little bit slower. They're taking their time with it.
And I like that. And this is something
they easily
that
could have had the Empire show up in episode 2. Like it feels like they're kind of going a little slower with it intentionally.
And I'm not saying that like Andor influenced that. I'm just taking your time with a story and developing it is something that it seems like quite a bit of Star Wars, and the Clone Wars part of it is that, but it's also kind of geared towards a different audience, really. Is something that I appreciate, and I really like in Maul because it's doing it. It's taking its time, but it's achieving what it needs, and in a decently. Yeah. The pacing's decent.
Yeah, I
Except
agree.
when it's disrupted by a weird lacrosse game.
Yeah, well, again, I can understand why they kind of had that scene in there to get the conversation between Lawson and Daki, but even with that, though, again, back to the whole lightsaber thing. The lightsaber's and again, it's animated, but even still, the lightsaber still looks solid. Like we commented on Darth Maul's blade, and when we talked about the first 2 episodes, and it's just, I find it very interesting how I'm seeing these kind of connections to other things, like the whole Ventress, taking out Savage compared to, Maul kind of toying with Devon. The whole lightsaber thing with the Pike leader, and then with The Last Jedi with Snoke. And it really seems like they're taking all of the previous Star Wars stuff. They're seeing good ideas here and there that were in there that just were not executed well. They're taking those and adapting those to Maul and how he would kind of do some of that stuff. Mm-hmm. And they're giving like a nice polished version of it. That still goes in line with the character himself. Because it's like everything we've seen Maul do is not out of character. Like, it is very much something that he would do right in line with his personality, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, excuse me.
Well, if you're still with us, thanks for listening. Let us know what you think, what your thoughts are, not on our our podcast. Please spare us that. But thanks for sticking with us. Let us know what you think of Shadow Lord so far.
Yeah.
And yeah, tell us your high or your low. Tell us both. Let us know what your favorite part and your least favorite part of this group of episodes is. Come back next Wednesday as we cover what will have aired on Monday. 5 and 6. Yep.
And the titles of those, for anybody interested, are Inquisition for episode 5 and Night of the Hunted for episode 6.
That's intriguing.
Yeah.
Inquisition makes total sense. But
yeah, I'm really curious to see what episode 6 is going to be with that sort of title.
Yeah.
That just sounds foreboding.
Yep. You like that word.
I do.
You've been saying it a lot.
Is a great word.
Bye.
Deuces.